part of being in Menorca without George, I've come to a vineyard today. Binefade. We had some of the wine yesterday actually. Very nice, so we decided to come up to the vineyard. There's no tours on today because it's a Sunday and the Spanish do not seem to work on Sundays. So we're just wandering around the vineyard and we'll go into the bar later and try some. So we did have some wine at the vineyard because it was so delicious. We just downed it. I didn't get a video in time. We have now come down the coast to a place called Binefade. Probably pronounced that wrong. This is famous for white houses. The fishermen painted their houses white, put them really close together. It's a bit touristy, it's a bit busy, but it's very pretty, and it's a warren of white houses close together. So I'll get back to you when we're in there. So these are some of the little passageways. I'm just going to walk us down a few. It's a bit touristy here, but it's very pleasant. We are now at Binefade Beach. So it's around the cove from Binefade. A bit busier, a bit more pristine. Quite busy with all the Spanish people. Old beach bar you can see there in white. But it's very pleasant. Beach, quite clear waters. Quite a lot of people are even snorkeling. We are now a little bit up the coast and we are at the Punta Prima Defence Tower. Quite an impressive building. Now stands about 2.5 towers, used to be 3. It was used when they took the island back off the British. Built in 1786. It is lit up and it does have a door, but it is locked. We have tried it. Then out in the distance here is one of Mallorca's famous lighthouses. It's one of the more famous ones. And again, that was used to repel the British. And here we are at the Isla de Lier lighthouse. Bit of a better view of the lovely sea in the foreground. We are now at the Trapuco prehistoric site. This in front of us is a taliot. Big mound, 26 metres base, 11 metres high. It's got a room on the top. It's one of the biggest in the Balearic Islands, so it's very culturally significant. And in front of us we have a big rock which we've seen everywhere we've been going, not sure what it is. So we're out here in the heat of the day. It's quite warm, so we're not going to hang around, but lovely bit of history, and we've got the place entirely to ourselves. We have driven to the other side of the island today. We are at Ciutadella, the old capital of Menorca. And this is the cathedral, big old building. We may go in, we may not. But as you can see, this is a bit busier than what we're used to. Sun's come out and we will wander around, probably down to that obelisk you can see in the distance. We are now at the port of Ciutadella. I think it's quite a long, thin port, but definitely a few boats there. We've also come round to the obelisk that we saw in the distance earlier. And there's a market on today as well, which is nice. Mostly selling tourist tat, so nice to look at, but you don't actually buy anything. We are now just out of Ciutadella and we have come to Navata de Tudons. So Navata is this thing in front of us. It is basically where the prehistoric people of Menorca buried the dead bodies. This is one of the most elongated on the island, and it is a 2-layer. We read the board about it. Basically, they let them decompose in the middle and then shoved everyone to the side. And this is where all the communities would basically be buried. So, very impressive structure. We're here on a Monday, so it is free. Other days, it's about €2 to enter. Well worth a visit, right near the main road out of Ciutadella. Not very expensive, even if you do need to pay. We are now at Cala Galdana, and we are at the beach, or the platja. This is one of the nicer beaches in Menorca. It's a bit cloudy, so you can't see the turquoise waters. There are some beach bars, and I think it is time for a drink. That was the last full day in Menorca, and we have come to Calais Fonts, about a 10-minute walk from our hotel. It is about 9 o'clock at night. It is hip and happening. There's meant to be a craft market. We'll see if we find it. This is a really nice location. Really nice trip I've had without George. Maybe we'll have to bring him back sometime.
Juliette and I are out and about again, and we have come to Henley, as we have many times before, but we are on a boat this time, and we're about to head underneath Henley Bridge. The chap upstairs has just said to everyone, you got to sit down or you're going to lose your head. So let's head under the bridge. But it's a very nice boat. They serve good pints, reasonable prices, and it's nice being out and about on the river.
Still rests on the original timber pile foundations. The sculptured lady's head above the middle arch is that of Isis, and on the downstream side of the bridge one can see the sculptured head of old Father Thames. The River Thames between Henley
and there we go, going under the bridge.
Sometimes referred
it's surprising we're even going to fit because it doesn't look that high and the boat is quite big. But there we go, everyone's made it underneath. Hopefully nobody's been knocked over. So we're a bit further down the river now, but we're going past a historic boat display. You see there's some sort of fair, and we've also got this large paddle steamer going past, looking very impressive.
The first regatta in 1839 occupied a single afternoon. Today it is staged over 6 days, with preliminary races.
And I'd definitely say it's worth coming here to have a look around. We've left Henley and driven up the road, and we're now at somewhere called Stoner Park, which is an old country house, but we're actually here for something called Gifford's Circus, which is a sort of authentic circus, and we're going to be going in a little bit and we're going to see what it's like inside. It's a new day and Juliette and I are back at Windsor Castle, so we're using up the last of our yearly free access. And we're here to go look at the staterooms and the dollhouse, and we should be going in about 5 or 10 minutes. Looks like I've chosen an opportune time to do this though, and we have some chaps walking past in their outfits. I imagine they're a bit warm, because I'm a bit warm, and I'm wearing shorts and t-shirts. So we have seen the doll's house and looked around the staterooms again. Juliette was slightly disappointed with the size of the doll's house, because it is actually quite small. Juliette was under the impression it was a model village, where really it's actually just a big doll's house, as you might expect. But we had another look around the staterooms, it's all good. But we're leaving Windsor Castle now, going to go into town, and I think for us it's good that we've had the year's pass, because it meant we've got some good use out of coming here. But there isn't actually too much to do in Windsor Castle, at least for us, but nevertheless good to come visit and have a look around. Hello everyone, it's a new day. It's mid-August, and today Juliette and I are in London on the weekend. So Juliette's currently on her construction project, working on the Saturday morning, and I'm walking through Green Park on my way to the Churchill War Rooms. So while Juliette is busy this morning, I'm going to take the opportunity to visit London's 3 Imperial War Museums. So first off, we have the Churchill War Rooms at Westminster, which hopefully I'll be getting to in about 15 minutes time. We then have the main Imperial War Museum London, which is down in Lambeth, and then we have HMS Belfast over near the Tower Bridge. So it's going to be a fun morning. We're going to see how well I got on in the Churchill War Rooms, because I haven't booked a ticket, but it is quite early and I do have a membership which should let me jump the queue. Once we've done the morning, Juliette and I are going to be heading up to Hampstead, where we used to live, and we're going to be having a wander around Hampstead and then finishing up right by where we used to live in West Hampstead before going home. So we're just approaching St James Park in front of me, but we have the obligatory shot up towards Buckingham Palace along the Mall, and spinning round we have Admiralty Arch on the other end of the Mall, where I spent a bit of time working there quite a few years ago now. Looks like they've not finished it yet. And here we have St James Park, I'll be heading through to the Churchill War Rooms. So we're now at the far end of St James Park, and you should be able to see some pelicans, very large birds, on the rocks in the lake in front of me. They're a bit far away, I might have to zoom in for you to see them when this goes on YouTube. But they're there, looking very impressive. And spinning round, we have the Churchill War Rooms right here in front of me. So as I'm sure you know, this is where Churchill directed large amounts of World War II, and it's basically a bunker underneath Whitehall. Now, it doesn't open until 9:30, but I am here very early. It's about 9 o'clock because I didn't pre-book a ticket, and it's a lot easier getting in if you pre-booked a ticket, and I would recommend doing so if you can. But I'm here early enough, there's not much of a queue, and I shouldn't have any issues getting in. So we're nearly going in, and I've just been told that if you have a membership, you get to stand in the leftmost queue. If you're buying tickets, you stand in the middle, and if you already have a ticket, you stand in the right queue. So it seems like buying a ticket in advance actually means you've got a longer queue than either of the other options. So there you go. But yep, if you have a membership, it's nice and easy, and if you haven't got a ticket, it's probably worth getting in early just to make sure you get to the front of the queue. So here I am in the War Rooms, and they are just as claustrophobic as they probably would have been when they were used in World War II. So being a member definitely has some advantages. I was in very quickly, right at the front of the queue, which was excellent. And now I'm just a bit off-piste here. I've got ahead of the crowds and I'm just having a look around on my own. I'll have to head back to the front at some point. Just having a look around and seeing what I find. So I've sort of walked past the Churchill Museum, which is where you should go, and I'm now just walking around the War Rooms, having a look at what I find. I've been here before, but quite some time ago, so I don't really remember too much. But let's just walk down here, see what we get to. This shows the location of the War Rooms under Whitehall, so it's in the basement. And here's their position in London. So we have House of Parliament here, we'll go past in a bit, and the Churchill War Rooms are down there. I'm quite familiar with this area. I'm a member of the Institute of Civil Engineers, may have said before, and that's on Great George Street. Very nice building. And let's carry on down here while we have nobody around and see what we see. I did come here as a child and I've got very vivid memories of coming here. Very impressive. Things have changed a bit. I think things are a bit more barriered off than they used to be. Because I really wanted to look at a map, which I'm sure you used to be able to see, but I can't see so easily anymore. We got to the exit here, so I'm going to backtrack my way through the War Rooms and go have a look at the Churchill Museum and see what else I find. Now heading across the River Thames, going from the north side with the House of Parliament to the south. Got another nice image there of the House of Parliament with Queen Elizabeth Tower on the side. And now I'm going to be heading about 15 minutes south of the river to the Imperial Museum down in Lambeth. We are now here at the Imperial War Museum in Lambeth. So this is probably the main branch of the Imperial Museum. And outside of it we have these very large guns from a battleship. Absolutely humongous things. Certainly a lot bigger than what we'll see in HMS Belfast later on today. Shells it throughout. Yeah, absolutely monstrous. Wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that. There we go, 15-inch naval guns. And we're now going to head in and see what we find inside. Here we are in the lobby of the Imperial War Museum. So it's a very impressive building. We have a Harrier jump jet and a Spitfire here. And there's just a V2 flying rocket around the corner. There's a Japanese rocket plane of some description there. At least I believe that's what it is. And I'm just having a bit of a look around. I won't be here too long because this is my quick stop in between the War Rooms and HMS Belfast. But I'm going to have a look around the Cold War exhibition and the Falklands exhibition, which is sort of my main interest. But there's a lot of things here. There's also a very moving exhibition on the Holocaust. There's lots of things about World War II and armed conflict as a whole. This museum's tone's just a little bit different to some others because it's more on looking at the impact and effect of war. Maybe that's how you could put it, rather than going into monstrous detail about particular conflicts. So it's a very good holistic place to come to understand armed conflict as a whole. So I'm just finishing up here in Lambeth. Had a very interesting chat with somebody about the troop ship or hospital ship HMS Uganda in the Falklands War. They gave a very nice little presentation, and I managed to quiz somebody on my interest in one of the maps in the Churchill War Rooms. Fortunately they weren't able to help, but they've maybe put me in contact with somebody who can. But yeah, Imperial War Museum here, very good. A bit different to the other ones just because of what it looks into, but still well worth coming to. And I'm now going to be off to HMS Belfast, probably my favourite of the Imperial War Museums, and have a look around the ship again. So I'm going to be heading east, roughly in that direction, to the river, and then on to HMS Belfast. So I've made my way to London Bridge Station, very close to HMS Belfast, but I've just popped in to see the construction project my wife's working on, which is the one in front of me. So it's going to be a mid-sized tower, not too dissimilar to that one there, but she's in there right now managing some works, so I'm not going to embarrass her by saying hello. I'll be heading through the station, it's on my left now, and going to see HMS Belfast, and I'll be meeting up with her in about an hour's time to head up to Hampstead. After about 45 minutes walk from the last Imperial War Museum, we're now at the river, and we've got HMS Belfast here in front of us. Got Tower Bridge to the side, got the City of London over there, and now I'm going to walk around a little bit and heading on to HMS Belfast in a few minutes. So this ship in front of us is the German ship, I'm going to pronounce this terribly, but it's like Braunschweig, and it is a German corvette. Probably here having a visit, looks very impressive though. Got the gun at the front, a few missile launchers, and I'm going to head down below decks with a hint you might be able to go on board and have a look around. So we'll see if I can manage that. But very nice to see that while we're here looking at HMS Belfast. Now towards the front, or the bow of the ship, and you've got the guns just to the side of me. You can see they're an awful lot smaller than the monstrous ones they had at the War Museum earlier. If I spin round, you've got a very nice view of the Shard right there. And I've been having a nice time wandering around the ship. Been looking quite a lot at the German ship next door. HMS Belfast doesn't look too big from the outside, but when you're up close looking at it, and when you're inside, it's an absolutely monstrous ship. So many different passageways, and it's really good fun to come visit. If you're tall, you're going to have to duck a lot, but other than that, it's very, very good fun to come look around. And we'll just have a bit of a walk around up to the Admiral's Bridge and have a look at it from up there. So that's the view out from the Admiral's Bridge. And if we head back outside, give a bit more of a history of the ship. So it was used extensively in World War II, did quite a lot of roles, was on the Arctic convoys, and then towards the end of the war got transferred out to Asia in preparation for the invasion of Japan, which didn't happen. And then it served on through the Cold War, and it was designed as sort of a command ship, so it had quite well integrated facilities for admirals. So we just were at the Admiral's bridge there, and then the Captain's bridge is above / below it, I can't quite remember. And it's obviously had a very long and illustrious history, and has been here in London for a good amount of time now. You should now re-enter. And is an excellent place to come and visit. So it's a bit later on in the day, and Juliette and I have made our way to Golders Hill Park. bit of a change from this morning's Imperial War Museum hunt, but we're now at the park. And you may remember some videos some time ago. We used to come here a lot and look at the little zoo they have and have a wander around. So we'll be doing that today. But first we're going to have some lunch. So we need to find somewhere in the shade to sit down and have a snack. We are now at Golders Hill Park Zoo. So it's a pretty small zoo, but quite an interesting one as they go. There is a wallaby in the far distance, poking out behind a bush. You're definitely not going to be able to see it, but it is there, I promise. There are some donkeys over there in the distance through the fence. Might have a bit of a better job at seeing them. And spinning round, we have some lemurs in this cage here. They do double the fences up, so they're pretty impossible to see with cameras, but there might be a couple of lemurs in here somewhere. There is a lemur over there on a piece of wood outside its house, having a sit down. Not doing anything interesting, but it is having a sit down. And then won't go look around too much, but there's some birds and there are some deer at the back. So not too much to see, but given it's free, it's pretty good to come and have a look at what they have to have a look at. So we have found a map. So we're at Golders Hill Park, which is part of the wider Hampstead Heath. So we're currently here. We're going to be heading up to Hampstead Heath in a little bit, probably going to Kenwood House and then Parliament Hill and back down, but we'll see how we get on. But for now, Golders Hill Park's here in front of us. Came in over here from Golders Green, had a look at the zoo, had a look at the nature walk and the pond. We're now at the cafe and we're going to be heading up to the pergola, see what's up there. So we're now up at the Hill Gardens, which are some slightly unexpected gardens and sort of structures here in the park. And I believe these used to be part of a very large house, which is just behind me. So there we go, very nice park there in front of us. And spinning around, there's sort of a raised walkway to walk along, and you get to take around this big old house behind me. So you can sort of see it here, and it's all just a little bit incongruous, but very good fun to come walk around. Very nostalgic for Juliette and I. It's a couple of years since we were last here, and we used to come here an awful lot when we lived in the area. Here we have this sort of walkway area, which I guess it used to be part of the stately home. We're here in Hampstead Heath, having a very nice walk around. So we're just walking through the middle of it. We're not going to go to Kenwood House today because it's a little bit too far and we've already done a lot of steps. So we're going to be heading down here to the bathing pools and the hill overlooking London. And then we'll be swinging round and heading up to Hampstead itself. And here we are at the top of Hampstead Heath, having a great look down towards London. So the Shard's right in the middle of the view. That's where we were earlier. That's where HMS Belfast is. And we are now going to be heading down the path to Hampstead's bathing pools, which are about 5 minutes away. We've now reached the Hollybush Tavern, which is a very quaint little pub just up the hill a bit from Hampstead. So we've had a wander around Hampstead, we're now in the pub for a few drinks, and once we're done here we'll be heading down the hill to West Hampstead, where we have some dinner reservations.
We just had a pint in the Hollybush, quite a famous pub in West Hampstead, and we're now going back down the hill to West Hampstead, the newer part, and have some dinner.
So it's a bit later on and we have reached West Hampstead, where we used to live. Lived just down on the right hand side, but we've come to one of our favourite restaurants here in London, which is the Wet Fish Cafe, a fish restaurant that does a few other things, and it is an excellent restaurant, very reasonably priced for the quality of food you get, and definitely worth coming to. And we've had a very nice meal. Juliette's just in there getting her dessert, and I'm just doing the video out here. But it has been a great day out today, really good fun. Enjoyed seeing the various Imperial War museums and enjoyed going around Hampstead. It's been quite a few years since we were last in London doing things like this, and it's nice to make a change from the slightly quieter way of life out in Maidenhead.
It is a sunny afternoon in late August, and we are away for a weekend in the Cotswolds. So today we have gone to Swindon Outlet Centre this morning. We are now at Jeremy Clarkson's new pub, the Farmer's Dog. So it only opened a week ago. So that is the pub restaurant there with a massive queue outside of it. We just went and got a drink from the Grand Tour tent that you can see there. We've got a bar, butchers and a shop. As you can see, very busy, very pleasant. Just long waits and stuff. Now tomorrow we are off to George's friend's wedding, and on Sunday we're doing a National Trust property on the way back, so we will keep you updated with our activities.
We have now reached Bourton on the Water, which is a little bit busy. We are here on a weekday, but I suppose it is a summer holiday day, and Juliette and I are being reminded about why we don't tend to do anything in the summer holidays, because it is jam-packed with people. But nevertheless, it is very pretty. There's this nice bit of water, there's lots of little bridges, and if we head out to the side, you can get a good view down the river and have a look at all the people hanging around. Juliette and I are at the wedding here in Winchcombe. It's late on in the evening, we've had a really nice day, very nice church wedding, and because it has a bit of an American theme, this wedding, there is a rodeo here in the grounds, and we're having a watch of a few people having a go, and soon enough Juliette and I will be heading on and seeing how long we last on the mechanical bull.
It genuinely feels like just slide off. Any good?
I'm assuming this is slippery.
It is. It's slippery. And he said it's cheating, but I was at my feet.
I don't want to slip.
Bucker!
15 seconds.
It's the day after a wedding, and Juliette and I are up bright and early at another National Trust property. We're still in the Cotswolds, and we're at somewhere called Lodge House, which is this very impressive building in front of us. And this is a grandstand, which is basically somewhere a lot of people who had a lot of money came and did some gambling. So there's the building in front of us, and then there is sort of a, I think, a deer course and various other things around here for you to gamble on. But it looks very impressive. We've very coincidentally chosen one of the few days it's actually open, so we're going to head over and go have a look around inside. So we are in the grandstand, and it's a very pleasant place to come and visit. And as I was saying outside, the point of this was for deer coursing. So you'd come here and then you'd bet on how quickly a dog could run after a deer. And if you bet enough money, you got to see the dog eat the deer. So yeah, it was quite interesting. The building has been modified quite a few times since it was originally built, but the outside is apparently a very good example of this type of landscaping, and is apparently significant. So we're going to go up to the roof in a little bit, but for now we're just going to go have a look out at the view. So we're out behind Lodge Park now, where they did some landscaping in the distant past, and the first thing we've had a look at is this Neolithic burial mound behind us. So it's about 5,000 years old, and that's where people in the long distant past put their relatives. The National Trust has never excavated it because there's probably not too much in there after 5,000 years, but it's there, and they know it's of that age due to some testing they've done. And we're now just going to be walking along and looking at some of the things they did more recently. We're on a bit of a tour. We've chosen very randomly one of the few days this place is actually properly open, and as a result we get to have a nice tour around and some descriptions about how everything was put together in the past. So we are now down a bit towards the valley, which is here on the estate, and this is where they were going to build a big serpentine canal, which never got built in the end. But there is something called the Theatre of Trees right in front of us, which sort of angles your trees towards a central viewing point, which you can just about see. And that was supposed to be a big thing in the past to come and have a look at. But lots of the things here never actually really got done. And in the National Trust is now putting things back together how they were intended to be. I'd give it a few years' time and it'll be a really impressive landscape to come and have a look at. So we're now back at the grandstand, and we've got this nice view out the front, and spinning round we have the view back towards the landscape I did a few videos of earlier. Now lots of what the National Trust is doing, as I said, is taking things away and changing things so it's back like it was in the past. So some of the trees in front of us will be taken out and moved so the view opens up. But all in all, it's very, very pleasant to come here. It's not open too many days a year, but when it is open, it's well worth coming to and talking to the lady downstairs who works for National Trust. They are looking at whether or not they can make it or to more of a normal National Trust property which is open all the time. So that's it for the moment from Juliette and I here in the Cotswolds. We're going to be heading home now and having a bit of a sit down after our very energetic day yesterday.